Who will be victorious?
Only the faithful!
Welcome back to another Star Mini-Gaming YouTube video. As always, I'm James Squires, and we are continuing our look at the Age of Sigmar fluff. This time we are actually starting with what was the first book, The Gates of Azyr, and this book is closely tied to the starter set. The models in the starter set are representative of the characters in this book. So before I dive too much into the story, we're going to take a look at some of those characters because a few of them will appear in later books that I've already read that I'll be reviewing soon, and some of them, while I haven't yet seen them appear again, are written in such a way that they could come back. So we'll see. So the first is Lord Celestin Vandus, and if you have the starter kit, this is, I guess, the official model that is on the Dracoth, the dragon-like mount, the Lord with the hammer. He's the commander of this force, and he's actually from the Realm of Fire initially, before he was taken by Sigmar and reforged into a Stormcast Eternal. Secondly, we have my personal favorite character out of all the novels so far, Ionis Cryptborn. He is the Lord Relictor that you get in the starter set. Obviously, you can use any of the starter set pieces for generic ones of your own. I'm just saying, as in tied into this story. He is the Lord Relictor, so he's the one with the big banner kind of thing for Sigmar. And he's an awesome character. He is initially from the Realm of Death. He was basically stolen from Nagash by Sigmar, and knows that when he eventually returns to the Realm of Death, that Nagash will make him pay for leaving. So, he knows that at the end of all of this journey that he does not have happy things waiting for him. But he's definitely a badass character. And then we have Cool, the Corn Lord. Yeah, I love that his name is literally Cool, because he's not very cool. He is represented by the Corn Lord with the special axe and the little flesh hound in the starter box, and he, more than any other, is truly that piece. The unique ability of that axe in the starter set, and him having the hound, is exactly as the character is. He has a unique axe that basically does the same kind of thing, and he has that hound that was gifted to him by Khorne in a somewhat mocking way. At least Cool feels so. And so that's kind of like the biggest characters that you need to know. There are other characters throughout the story, but all of them are relatively minor, and most likely will never appear beyond this book. They only appear on a few pages or scattered about in a paragraph here or there. So while they're interesting enough, because this is a bit of a step back or zoomed out view of the story that's going on in the book, we won't be covering them here. So the book begins with the prologue, because all the books seem to have one, by kind of giving you a picture of what life is like currently for the people who live in the Realm of Fire. And interestingly enough, there's no fire. In all the other stories that I've read, the other realms actually kind of live up to their name. The Realm of Life, there's lots of plant life, there's lots of different kinds of beings, there's, flowing rivers and lots of greenery and all. In the Realm of Death, it's, as you would expect, it's basically dust and sand and ruins and destruction, and just, looks a mess. The Realm of Light, or Realm of Heaven, which is Sigmar's realm, is just that. It is, compared to everything else, a paradise, golden armored warriors, everything is perfection, everything is ordered, everything has its place. But the Realm of Fire doesn't really seem to fit that yet, at least in the part that we see. It basically seems like our world, in the sense that there's different areas of terrain that have completely different features. There's dried up riverbeds, there's canyons, there's deltas, there's everything, right? And then There's like tundra-like areas. There's basically everything but fire. That's shown in the initial part of the book. So we see a small group of people fleeing from a group of blood reavers, and it's described that basically this is the existence for any humans who have lived thus far. Basically, the Khorne forces and the rest of Chaos came and wiped out this entire realm through hundreds, if not thousands, of years of war. And the only people left are the people that can run fast enough to stay alive long enough. And yeah, the realm is just broken by chaos. Everyone who lives there is broken, just scared and running. That's all they can do. They can't fight. They don't have the numbers, the forces, the armament, anything. All they can do is run to survive. And then Azyr is shown in the beginning of the first chapter, and it is such a complete 180-degree turn. As I just described, it is a place of order and peace and pretty much perfection, which is everything that obviously the Realm of Fire is not. And Vandus and Ionis and their forces are shown here, and they're given the task of going before the rest of the Storm host and establishing a beachhead in the Realm of Fire and capturing the Realm Gate. And if you're not familiar with the Realm Gates are what connected the 9 realms, and Sigmar closed them off whenever Chaos began to invade all the other realms and destroy them and take them over. And Sigmar knew that he couldn't defeat Chaos right now, that he didn't have the tools necessary. So he shut off the Realm of Heaven from all the other realms and sealed the Realm Gates. And basically set about building the Stormcast Eternals. Well, now that they are ready, he has sent this small task force to basically unlock the Realm Gate and let the Storm host through now that they're ready to wage war against Chaos. And so they go through, and as soon as they go through, there is Kuhl's forces who have been chasing these last ragtag humans around, happen to be there. And there's this line that was so much missed opportunity whenever I read it. The initial line, whenever the first Stormcast show up, delivered by the Storm, is that only Kuhl kept his composure. And I was like, you missed a golden opportunity. The line should have been, only Kuhl kept his cool, whenever the Stormcast arrived. But anyways, the Stormcast do arrive. The Bloodbound, being Khorne warriors, are eager for a fight, and so they quickly recover from their shock and charge on in. And there's a very, very long battle that lasts the majority of the novel between these two sides, and it's just a back and forth affair, and it's tipping one way and then the other, and finally the Stormcast managed to destroy the wards that Sigmar himself had placed over the Realm Gate, and reinforcements begin to come in. And of course, all that does is excite the Khorne warriors even more, because it's a greater battle. They have a greater chance of dying, so they basically get pumped up even more. And the battle comes to a standstill, and it comes down to, as we all knew it would, the battle between the lords. So Kuhl begins to stride towards Vandus. Ionis Cryptborn steps in his way, and having just fought a Korgorath and killed it, he's tired, and so Kuhl beats him down. Doesn't kill him, just beats him down. And then Vandus steps into the fight, and there is this, of course, epic duel between Kuhl and Vandus. And Vandus is losing, and he can't figure out why at first. He can't seem to fight with his normal skill. And then he realizes it's because his old life from this realm is still affecting him. He had hopes of returning to see some of his home left intact, worth fighting for, but he sees that that's not the case. So he just lost heart initially. And once he realizes this, he's able to kind of let go of that. And he's like, we fight for the future, not for the past. And so he does, kind of gather his heart again, and he strikes Kuhl down. Doesn't kill him, just breaks him. And the Stormcast turned the tide right there, and are able to win with that one, key victory. And so, the battle goes the Stormcast way, and Cool, who isn't dead, kind of slinks away. And the book ends with Vandus speaking to some of the humans that we saw at the beginning of the book running from the Blood Reavers. And we get kind of a neat picture here. It's the first time that, these regular humans have encountered the Stormcast, so we get to see what they think, what they feel. And it talks about how during the battle, how the Stormcast had at first terrified them. They thought they were more daemons. And then inspired them, and a few of them were ready to take up what arms they could and go fight alongside the Stormcast. And then, now that they've spoken to the Stormcast, how the Stormcast have become hope for them. And so the book kind of ends there with Vandus telling them that they are going to protect them to their dying breaths and beat back chaos. So that's where this story ends. I'll be picking up again soon with the next story that involves Ionis and Vandus, which is in the Search for Galmaraz, which happens shortly after this. But this is the first story from a chronological perspective in the Age of Sigmar. It really introduces to the forces of chaos, the Stormcast. They, were previously unknown. Chaos didn't really didn't even seem to be aware, at least from the perspective in this book, of the realm of heaven. And they had just kind of grown bored with what they had conquered. So this is the beginning of the war, but obviously it's a long way from over. So until next time, this is James, and happy gaming.